Greetings everyone! Now has come the time to do a funny little video about explaining exactly all the frame windows in this hardest room so far in Celeste modded, which is Abaddon. I will be assisted by my task, which will be here to let me show everything and every single move. So first, let's get some things out of the way. I will be counting every frame window which is tighter or equal to 7 frames. Why 7 frames? Because 7 frames is the window for ungrabs, like bumper ungrabs. Everything hard and like less tight than 7 frames is basically free at this level of play, so I will not bother with it. Then, if you don't know how this works, a buffer, like any buffered input, is a 5 frame window. You have 4 frames of buffer and 1 frame of frame perfect input. So now let's go into this. And I will use frame by frame with my task to show exactly how everything works. You can see on the top left every single line of the task, so you can also follow along if you like to. First, let's go through Q1. You start with a downright, and then you have 5 frames to extend this hyper. If you do it early, you don't get your dash back, and if you do it late, you will just do a failed hyper, which does not give you enough speed. Then you will want to buffer the next downright, so those are 2 5F windows right there at the very start. 5Fs are not too bad, I swear. Then here you will have 6 frames to jump after getting the ultra boost, and you don't have to buffer this dash. And you don't have to buffer this one either, I just did for the task purposes to get more speed. But it doesn't really matter anyway. Then comes the first ungrab timing. So ungrab, you can either stop pressing grab at this point, or during the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 next freeze frames. So this makes every single ungrab a 7 frame timing. Then you will want to buffer right dash and do another ungrab, the 5F and 7F right there. Some people regrab at the center here to not hit this next yellow bumper too high. I personally don't, and just trust that the previous inputs I made were precise enough to not hit it high enough to die. Because I didn't regrab, I don't have to ungrab actually. I can just never grab in between, I think, but let me think. Yes, I did not grab between. I don't have to ungrab here. You can buffer the next upright. Here you have to regrab, but you can regrab during any of the 15 frames of your dash, so it's fine, really. And then ungrab here, and then buffer an up dash, and don't have to ungrab because you didn't regrab, and you have to press right during your dash or during the freeze frames, so it's pretty free. Then you enter the dream block. You have to throw left, which is free. And then you have a 5F window to hit this right dash. If you do it too early, you will hit this bumper too low. If you do it too late, you will hit it too high and get sent into the ceiling. So then you just hit the bumper, and this dash right here is a 5F timing. Then you have to regrab. So same reason as before as well, it's a 5 frame. And then ungrab, and you want to boost this bumper. You have to press left also, and then buffer a down dash here. Now comes the fun part, which is called weave. And weave is pretty darn hard, but mostly because it's very variable. So first, you will want to press right as soon as you exit the dream block, or even while you're in the dream block. And you have to press right for between 6 and 10 frames, making this a 5 frame timing. If you do it less than 6 frames, you will not clear the bumper. If you do it more than 10 frames, you will not be able to press left early enough to clear the next spinner. So here I did 8 frames, which is the most consistent timing, and then 8 frames of doing nothing. You can start pressing left between 0 and 16 frames, depending on your position. It really depends. if, for example, if you are too much to the right, it will be a frame perfect input because you need to press left really early. But I will not count this as any timing. However, you have to stop pressing left for like the timing to release left is between 3 and 5 frames depending on your position. It will most likely never be 5 frames. That's only if you were like extremely close to that yellow bumper. It will most likely be a 3 frame, so I will count it as a 3 frame release. And then you can press right at basically any point and keep pressing right for as long as you want. It's basically free. Then neutral drop, up dash, and you have an 8 frame or more to regrab this, so it's fine. Then ungrab and press right, 7 frame. And this up dash will be either a 2 or a 3 frame timing. Most likely 2. And if it's 3, then you can like press left on the 3rd frame, I guess, if you want to be able to hit the wall bounce right after. So most likely 2 frame, which is very bad, but I mean, it's in Q1, so it's fine, right? Then you have 8 frames exactly to wall bounce, so I won't be counting this one. You can neutral drop at basically any point, and you will want to basically be corner corrected to this one. Then you updash, and you have to buffer this jump, because if you don't buffer, you will hit the ceiling and you will not be able to do a wall bounce. Then ungrab, right demo buffer, so 5 frames, up right buffer as well. And then this regrab, either you like quote unquote buffer it, in which case you will have a tighter window, or you grab it late and you will have a better window here to be pressing left, basically. So there are no hard timings here, basically. Then ungrab and press right. Regrab in the middle, this is basically free. And the first climb jump, you have 5 frames to jump, otherwise you will just fall too low to be able to grab. And the second one, you don't have to be doing anything specific, it's not a tight timing. Then you hit the ceiling, keep pressing jump to reset some pixels, and then ungrab. Again, 7 frames, press right as well, 7 frames. Hit this refill and buffer a upright demo. And you can press right basically at any point during the demo, so it's fine. And then you will want to ungrab this one. And this is the funny bumper, which has a lot of ungrabs and a lot of buffers, and only one timing, which is not trivial. So ungrab, buffer, ungrab, buffer, ungrab, buffer, ungrab, but before the ungrab you have to stop pressing left at least 1 frame before hitting it. Otherwise you will be sent too much to the left and you will not be able to survive. And so this release is a 7 frame window. After that it's ungrab, buffer, ungrab, buffer, ungrab, buffer, ungrab, buffer, and you can just do the ending as you like. It's not really tight. 2 Vators and 2 updashes will do just fine. So now let's do the subtotal for the first quarter. There are 27 frames, 1 6 frame, 21 5 frames, 1 3 frame, which is variable, and 1 2 frame, which is also variable, but most likely 2 anyway. Now, on to Q2. Q2, you can do this neutral drop basically at any point, it's fine. Then buffer a down dash, and the regrab here is a 5 frame window. And so you can grab it in any of those 5 frame, you can just tap grab. Here I just tapped for 1 frame, it doesn't really matter how long you tap, as long as it's fewer than like 10 frames. Which also means that you ungrab this bumper automatically. Then you have to buffer a down dash and then press right to boost. And this demo is absolutely terrible. So depending on where you hit the dream block, it will be a different timing and you will have a different amount of frames to react to this situation. Anyway, I'm not counting reaction time frames. You can just neutral drop, and this demo is either a 2 or 3 frame, most likely 2. If it is a 3 frame, the 3rd frame means that you will not be able to buffer the next jump input, which will hence become a 2 frame in the worst case scenario. Otherwise, you can just buffer it, like I do right here. You get the extend, and if you're too much to the right, you will actually have to wait for the extend, and maybe it will be fewer than 5 frames. But anyway, the worst is 2 frames, and I will count it as a 2 frame, but extremely variable. Then you regrab, ungrab here, and press right to boost. You can be pressing right a bit before the bumper, so it's not a 7 frame, but the ungrab is a 7 frame. Then buffer and up right. Then you will want to throw Theo left. You can buffer a demo while you do that. It doesn't really matter. So the demo is a 6 frame. Usually it should be a 7 frame for a demohyper, but it's only 6 frame because if you do it on the 7th frame, you will actually whiff Theo later. So 6 frames for the demo, 6 frames also for the right press, because you want to turn around, and 7 frames for the jump, or the hyper. Then you hit this bumper, you can press left basically at any point to boost, and here is when you would whiff if you had demoed on the 7th frame. So yeah, you want to buffer this updash and regrab, also basically buffer the grab, but it's actually 6 frames, but it's only 5 if you press demo on the 6th frame. So I will count it as a 6 frame because most likely you buffered the demo anyway. This then is an ungrab based on if you are too much to the right like I am right now, or if you didn't press demo on the 6th frame. So I will count it as a ungrab. Otherwise you can just not grab, basically. You can just tap grab and it's fine. Then you want to buffer the downright here, so 5 frames. And the infamous 2 frame, which I confirm is actually a 2 frame, basically regardless of your position. So you want to wait until you have spent at least a couple frames out of the dream block before dashing. And the dash is a 2 frame and the regrab is a 7 frame. Then this hyper is actually a 7 frame for both the demo and the jump, so it's fine. Then you can regrab basically at any point after that. And this button jump, one would be inclined to think it's a 5 frame. It's actually 4. The reason you can buffer on the 5th frame before the jump is because if you do that, you will actually slow fall, and you won't hit the button on the 5th frame, but on the 6th, meaning that you will fail the buffer timing window. So this button jump is a 4 frame. Amazing, right? Then this is free. Then buffer left, buffer up with buffer left. So 3 5 frames in a row. And you want to grab, like to tap grab, so that you can ungrab this one automatically. You don't have to ungrab it on 7 frame, it's fine. Don't boost it, and buffer down right. Here comes the second part of Q2. The second part, the updash here is extremely lenient, but the wall bounce is not. It's actually a 5 frame window to jump for the wall bounce. The 5 frame will depend on where you dashed, but yeah, just keep it in mind. Then this neutral drop is free, the down left is free also, the regrab is not. Here for me it was a 6 frame, it will most likely be a 7th frame, but it can depend on how left you are. Then the Mickey Mouse. So for the Mickey Mouse, or the Theo grabless driper, you want to buffer the first jump before exiting the dream block. This is 5 frames. Then you want to buffer the demo dash, which is also a 5 frame window. And then you want to do the second jump, which is also a 5 frame. And so then we grab basically at any point. Then bumper hit, ungrab, you can hit right a bit earlier if you want. Ungrab, and then you will buffer an upright. Then dream double jump, which is first a 5 frame for the first jump. The second jump is 8 frames, so it's fine. You will be fine. I won't count it. You can throw at any point, this is what I do. And then 6 frames to dash up left, if I'm... Yes, 6 frames. then the regrab is basically free because you have thrown Theo. Here, a cool strat you can do is row, wait a few frames, then updash, you have 6 frames to do so, and instantly press grab, so that the regrab will give you enough height for this next move. Next move, which is free. Then another demohyper, which is 7 frame, 7 frame. Ungrab here, 7 frame. And I personally regrab here to be able to throw Theo and simply buffer this dash and this dash. And then you have 6 frames, or maybe 5? No, you have 6 frames to regrab Theo here. Then you want to buffer a jump before exiting the dream block while pressing right, which is 5 frames. And then the ending sequence, you do as you like. I won't judge you, and I won't count any frame timings for the rest of Q2 because it's so variable. You can do basically whatever you want. But what I like to do is this. Alright, so the subtotal for Q2 is 11 7 frames, 8 6 frames, 19 5 frames. You can maybe have one more if you were lucky on the demo, 1 4 frame, and up to 3 2 frames. Obviously, some of them are extremely variable, but you at least want one confirmed 2 frame, and it's the only, well, except on this Q1 2 frame updash, it's the only certified 2 frame where whatever your position is. Now on to Q3. So this is free, this is free. The climb jumps, if you want to not crumble this block, you have to do it by, like, you have to stop pressing jump for fewer than 5, well, 5 frames or fewer. So these are 5 frames timing to jump, basically. You have to do at least 1, but it's better to do at least 2 to be able to not waste a dash if you want to do another save later, basically. So I do 3 here, but 2 is enough. The third one, you can crumble the block and then do your right jump. Then Vater, this is free, regrab is also free. And this next section is the only one I will not count the frames for because it's extremely variable. You can do basically whatever you want, and it's not very hard if you know what you're doing. So I'll just do this, basically. And then through to your right, do your Vater. And then the conveyor climb jumps. If you want to get any significant amount of height, you need to hit a 5 frame window for the jump. So here I will do 1 early and 1 late to show the difference. Early, late. And the third one is also a 5 frame window to get any significant amount of height. And this turnaround is also a 5 frame if you don't want to die to the spinners. Then you do a climb jump. You don't have to be hitting the 5 frame window for this one, so it's pretty lenient. This is just to time the ball here. And then do your left dash, which is pretty lenient. Same for the grab, it's pretty lenient. And now you're on the left part. And first, this left dash here is a 3 frame timing. Do it earlier, you will die because you hit the bumper too low, and if you do it later, you will die to those spikes. So 3 frames, then you can stop pressing grab at any point between when you start the dash and when you are on the freeze frames of the bumper, so it's extremely lenient. You want to buffer your jump for this exit of dream thing. And press grab is basically also a buffer. It's not really a buffer, but you get what I mean. Then this is actually a 5 frame button jump, so this is fine. And then this back boost style input is pretty lenient, but the up dash after is not. You only have 4 frames after clearing this spinner to up dash. If you do it later, you will not get the lift boost from getting Theo, because you are grabbing too late, basically. This regrab timing is a... Let me check my notes. Regrab is a 5-frame window. So dash is 4 frames, grab is 5 frames. Then neutral drop, dash right, you have a 7-frame window to regrab Theo. Plus button jump is a 5-frame, it's fine. Then you have to release jump on a 3-frame window. Otherwise, it can be 4, but it's usually 3, depending on your speed. Like if you are quite slow, it can be 4, but I wouldn't count on it. So 3-frame release window, and then this button jump is also a 5-frame window. The release is a 3-frame, and it's the only really hard part, except that it's like surrounded by hard timings also. Like now the Madeline goes through the door, which is funny. This climb jump is between 6 and 8 frames depending on your speed. I will like just take the mean and say that it's a 7-frame window. Then the first corner kick is extremely lenient, it's up to 8 frames, so I will not count it. And the second one has to be buffered, with 5 frames. Then 2 climb jumps, which are both 5 frames. And the third one, you can do basically whatever you like, so it doesn't matter. Then this corner kick is a 6-frame, you can actually hit it 1 frame after the buffer timing if you want. And then just go up. Neutral drop, 7-frame regrab here. And you don't have to ungrab because you have just grabbed Theo right before. And you can press left at basically any point. Now comes this demo dash. You have only 3 frames to do it. Because if you do it earlier, the turnaround back boost will not work. And if you do it later, you will actually throw Theo. So just 3 frame, a bit bad, but that's how it goes. Turnaround is pretty lenient, then the dash is pretty lenient. I did it extremely low, extremely late on purpose here. Then 5 frames to extend, and buffer the next down left, so 2 5 frames here. Then here you have up to 7 frames to jump for the ultra. You are not meant, well, you are meant to corner boost, to dollar boost, but you don't have to, it doesn't matter. This next ultra is pretty lenient, this jump is pretty lenient, and here comes the corner boost staircase. You can be as slow as 1 input per 7 frames. It is the slowest you can be. If you want to be 8 frames between each jump, you will not get enough speed. So 7 frames it is, and by doing 1 input every 7 frame, you actually miss 2 corner boosts. So there are 11 corner boosts, and you only need to do 9 to survive, which is exactly what I do here. If you do 8, you fail, and if you do more, you can just be more lenient on the next parts. Then dash, and then this is free. This is a dream double jump, so 5 frames for the first one and 8 for the second one. This throw is free, and then Q4. For the subtotal of Q3, we have 13 7 frames, 1 6 frame, 18 5 frames, 1 4 frame, 2 3 frames, knowing some of them might be variable. Like the left demo is not variable, but the release jump for the second button is variable, maybe 4. Then Q4. If you don't dash and hit those strings, the moon boost is literally free. Like it's 10 or more frames. Like come on, it's 1/6 of a second. It's easy. Like it's literally free. Then 5 frames to extend the hyper. The next dash you don't have to buffer, you can do it at basically any point. And you have 6 frames to buffer. You have 6 frames to throw Theo here. If you do it later, it will like hit the wall and you might not get it. And if you do it later, it might like stay a bit on the dream block and you will lose frames for the next part. So 6 frames it is. And then for the next 5 dashes, what I did is do it as fast as possible and count how many frames I had left. So doing it as fast as possible means you buffer every single dash, but you get 20 extra frames by doing this. Like you have 20 frames of leniency, which means you could distribute every single frame to the other dashes and it would make them 9 frame windows, which is pretty easy. So I will just do that basically. And you still have a couple timings here, because you have this regrab after this right dash, which is 7 frames. And depending on your height, you might only get 6 or 7 frames on the turnaround here to grab the wall on the right. So I will count this as a 7 frame, even though it can be 6. Then grab this block. Here I have 20 frames of not doing anything, as you can see. 20, and then the block starts moving. Now, right dash, this is free. Right demo, which is free, and you can ungrab at any point during the dash, so it's also free. You have to buffer this jump, and you have to quote-unquote buffer the grab afterwards. So that's 2 5Fs right there. Then this Vator is free, even though I died like twice there. This left dash is a 5 frame timing, and then 7 frames to regrab. This up dash is pretty free, same, you can ungrab at any point. And then you can throw, and 5 frames here to dash. The latest you can do is 5 frames. So 5F timing. Then this section is pretty easy, I just did the thing that looks the funniest. Up dash. Then this is a bit tough. You have 5 frames to neutral drop, 5 frames to dash, and 5 frames to regrab the O. So this is 3 5Fs in 1, basically. This is 3, just do it late to get better luck on the next move. Then you just do this, no specific timing here. And this neutral drop is a 7 frame, the up dash is also a 7 frame, and the regrab is 5 frames. Then neutral drop and regrab is 7 frame. This is nothing fancy, nothing fancy, nothing fancy. Then the Sumber part, which is a bit like fewer inputs anyway. The first one is easy, but the 2 next turnarounds are 7 frames, because otherwise you will miss dash. And if you do it later, you will not grab the dream blocks. Then you demo. You can ungrab at any point as usual. You have to buffer the jump, you have to buffer the grab. So 2 5Fs here. And then we go on to don't shake. Alright, don't shake. You can actually not do ungrabs at every bumper. You can just regrab a bit early, and you have 20 frames to do so, basically. You can just tap grab, and it's a 20 frame window, so it's fine. The only true ungrabs in don't shake are the first hit, and the 2 hits which follow falls. So let's do this. Ungrab, then you can just regrab at any point. My strat is to hit grab at this intersection and to stop pressing right during the pickup animation, which is pretty long. And this is a 5 frame window for me, for this strat. It's not too bad. However, the left press here is a 3 frame in my strat, which is pretty bad, and I only noticed this doing this lab thing. I didn't know it was so tight, which is pretty bad. So 3 frames, I usually line it up to start pressing left when I hit this background element, which is floating on the right of me right now. Then this is an ungrab, and you don't boost this one. Then you just regrab a bunch of times. Same thing, I regrab at this intersection here. And this is extremely lenient timing. You can do it late, you can do it early, it's really fine. Same for stopping to press right here, it's really lenient. This hit is super lenient as well. Just, it's basically impossible to miss it. And then it's also an ungrab. So 1/7 frame here still. Then this is, you can just adjust your position based on how you hit the bumpers. And this is a 5-frame buffer, obviously, for the hard collect. And this is Q4. So the subtotal for Q4 is 11 7 frames, 1 6 frame, 13 5 frames, and 1 3 frame. And the 3 frame is only because of my strat, which is terrible. You can probably do better than that. But, well, suit yourself, I guess. And so the total for the whole room is 55 7 frames, 11 6 frames, 71 5 frames, that is huge, 2 4 frames, 4 3 frames, a bunch of them are variable, and 4 2 frames, most of them are variable except the upright dash and the up dash in Q1. And this is it. This is all your frame windows for Abaddon. And you could like maybe do some stats on how often you can each frame window and compute how likely you are to beat any attempt of Abaddon if you knew exactly what you were doing. And it's pretty funny to me. However, that is not the point right now. And if you don't like this video, throw it. I hope you have learned something, and I will see you in the next one. And GG hard collect.